Okay, your day 89 solution. Let's see if we can build a community chat app. So first thing I'm going to do is run the REPL, and I'm going to bring in request, redirect, and do I need anything else? Probably Replit DB, but let's start by turning on the authentication. Okay, enable that. And I'm not going to go crazy with authentication. I'm just going to use the generic authentication system because pretty much a user going to our site should really be kicked to the chat page. So let's get going. Okay, let's build our chat page template. Let's bring in there. In the body, let's pop in what we want from that. So I want H1 with community chat. Let's do an H2. You are logged in as username, and we replace that with a username when we go. Let's put an HR in. Let's then put chats in there. And then we'll put inside there the form to add a new message. Form method equals post action equals, let's call it add our message. Make an input box, just text. Make sure it's required before they type anything in. I'm also going to put a hidden one in to store the user's ID, so we can add the user ID to each and everything we do. Actually, we don't need that because we can pick that up from the header. That's okay. We don't need that. We can pick it up from the header. And that's all we need, really. We need a submit button, don't we? Button type equals submit, send, close the form. Okay, so I think that's a reasonable start on our page. What's our chat going to look like, though? Each individual chat message is going to look a certain way. We're going to have an H3 for who it's from, so it's going to be username there. Then we'll do an H4 with the timestamp, and then just a P for the message. Remember, I'm just using the F-string syntax here. I'll need to replace later on to replace those. So the idea is going to be the chat page is what you see. The bit that says chats is going to be replaced by a number of messages, like we've done before with the blogging engine. So let's turn it off. Let's add the bit where we open that file up. And we'll also do page equals page.replace username with the user's actual details. So that's going to be request.headers, and then it's going to be put their name in there. There we go. So hopefully what that should do is pop that in there and then show it to us on the screen. Pop the full screen. It's asking us to log in. We authorize, and hopefully in we go. There we go. And we've got the chats bit in the message box, and it knows who I'm logged in as. So we're all in a good place there. Okay, so what's next? Well, for most users, they should be able to then chat. So let's write that ability for them. Now from chat, let's have a look. What did we say? We had a form that went to add. So let's go and write the app route for that. So it's add methods. I'm just going to use post. Let's do it. So we should have picked up. So that means we should be able to pull the data from it. So our data is going to be the message. We also need the date, and we also need the user ID. So let's see if we can pull that information together. So the message is going to be form. The date, we're going to need date time for that. Datetime.now, and then timestamp is going to be datetime.timestamp date. So we're going to get a timestamp for that with the actual, even the millisecond value of when this is being processed. We also need the user ID of who it's from. So let's store the user ID and the username, I think. So we'll do request.headers, and we'll bring in from authentication. We need ID there. It's just username for later, so we don't need to worry too much about that. So we pull in that, and we also pull in username. Now, for now, I'm just going to print that out on a page and check that works. So, f string is going to be user ID, username, timestamp, then finally return the page. Let's see how we get on with this. Okay, so we're having a bit of a crash online. That should be an array. There we go. Okay, that looks better. Let's go in here. Let's do test. Click send. Something's wrong. Let's see what it is. Missed the date time, haven't I? Datetime.datetime.now. Try it again. Test. An error again. Let's see what that is. It's datetime.datetime.timestamp again, isn't it? Alright, so we've got user ID, username, current time, and the message. That's all I need to create my database. So I don't need that. I'm going to turn that off there, and I'm going to create my database now. So let's bring in RepLDB, and let's bring it over to a split over here so I can use it and see what's going on. Let's insert, and let's set the key values. So DB, what am I going to have in the DB? Well, I'm going to set the key to be the timestamp, and the actual thing is going to be a dictionary where I have user ID, username, and the message. So again, stop it. Actually, we can't do anything yet because we're returning a page. We need to return a redirect to just the normal chat page. Did I import redirect? I did. So we should make all that in a database, and if it's working correctly, we should see this key value increase once we add a test message. So let's see if it increases. There's no errors, so it should be good. Hey, there we go. One key added. So it should have added that message. Now, let's write a function that gets the chat back so we can actually see that and see if it's working. And I'll write this as a subroutine, just like we did with our blogging engine. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my keys first. So that's one of these, isn't it? Get my keys. I'm going to convert keys to a list. And I'm going to do it backwards because you want the most recent chat to be at the top, really, don't you? So for key in reverse keys. I'll put a counter on there as well, actually. Actually, we could do it like this, couldn't we? We could go square brackets 0 to 4. Just chop out the first 4. This might break if there are not 4 in there, so we'll have a look. We might just need to have a counter on there. For now, we're just going to have result is nothing. And actually, I'm going to have to bring in the template, aren't I? So let's have a look. That's called message.html. So let's call message is nothing. F equals open. 1 equals message.html, and we're going to open it in read mode. Message equals f.read to read that file in, and f.close just to shut it off. Right, for each key, we're going to do my message equals message. Take a copy. My message dot replace. Now we're trying to remind ourselves of what we'd put in that original one. We've got username, timestamp, message. So let's start with username. That's going to be DB. And then I believe we've called it message. Do timestamp. And I believe the last one was username. It's backwards, I'm like, here we go. Username. Once that's done, we're going to do result plus equals my message, because that will add that to the bottom of my result then. And then once done, we're going to return result. Okay, just run that and just check that none of that is weird or in the wrong structure. So when we show the chat page, once we've made the page, we've replaced the username page equals page.replace. I think it was content with that subroutine. Just going to get the chat and bring it all in. So let's try that. Okay, we're having an error. So what's that? Doesn't like keys in reverse. Doesn't like line 15. Maybe it's not reverse. Oh, it was reversed, wasn't it? Reversed with a D. Ugh. Let's try that, because it still might not be working, because the slicing might be causing issues as well. So let's bring that up. Still an error. It says not subscriptable. So let's just take that out and see if that is causing the issue. Still an error. Timestamp. Couldn't find the key timestamp in the database. What did we call it? Oh, didn't put it in. We didn't put it in because it was the key value. So timestamp doesn't work like that. Timestamp would just be... Right, so we're still getting chats there. We should be getting at least one chat. We don't seem to be getting an error. So let's stop it. Let's run it again. We've got at least one value in the database. So let's see what's going on. Here is a test. The issue might be that it's chats and I've tried to replace content, haven't I? So let's have a look where that is. Well, it's doing it. It's not replacing the right stuff, but it is doing it. So let's have a look what's going on then. Let's print out the key as we access it. Let's just check that we are actually able to load the information from the database. So open a new tab. That should have triggered a bunch of these keys. So yeah, there's two keys that have been accessed there. So that means I should be able to access this. We should see my username printed out twice because I'm the only one that's used this so far. So let's have a look. Well, it's definitely loading that. So it can access the data. So let's have a look. My message equals message. The reason it's not doing anything is because I haven't got that bit on there to change the original value. I'm replacing it, but storing that string in a useless place. There we go. So we've got the information with the chat now. So I could say, hello, send it, and boom, it appears in there. Now remember, we only want to show the most recent 5. So we'll do recent equals 0. At the end of each one, we'll do recent plus equals 1. And as a quick check, if recent is 5, break. So get out of the loop and only show the most recent 5 chats always. Okay, with that done then, we've got a basic chat system, but now what we want to do is have an admin as well. So we basically want to show the same page, but with a delete chat button if we can. So what I think we need to do for that is we need to have an option here is admin. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit to our message. Now, at the moment, that's not going to do a massive amount. Let's actually see what that's doing. I do need to actually send that value across. So let's grab that. When we call the chat, when we call get chat, we should always call it with the username. There we go. So hopefully that should work now. And this should work almost the same as before, but you'll see now what we're getting is this admin brought in. So the question is, If it's an admin, we're going to show them a little X button that's going to be a link to delete that message. If it's not an admin, we don't want to see it. But how do we know who the admin is? Well, the admin will be me. So my user account details should be on here somewhere. In fact, all I should need to do really is print out my user ID here. Oh, not even there, I don't think. I can print it out up here, can't I, when it's loading them? Load the page for the first time. That's me. Got my user ID there. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to use that up here. Okay. So right at the end, before I add that on there. User ID is me. Then I'm just going to say pass the moment because I'm not going to write that. Otherwise, we're going to do replace admin with nothing. So for a non-logged in user, we should see nothing next to those timestamps now, which is exactly what we've got. For me though, I want to see an X there. So what I'd like to see is I'd like to see the admin replaced with a little bit of HTML. So I'm actually going to bring in the 3 quotes trick here so I don't have any weirdness going on. I'm going to make it an F string. And I'm going to say that I want to have a href /delete ID equals, and this is using get. I'm going to send an ID number to this. So I'm going to send a delete with the ID number of our key field there. So that goes in there. It's going to be DB key. I don't even actually need a key. So we'll send the key with that. So that then is going to be, I'm going to put like an X. What have I got? Big red X. Maybe put a space. And then A. So it's going to replace admin with just a link to /delete the ID of the key in a get style. So it's going to send that ID number in the URL with a big red X. So let's see what that looks like if I've done that right. It doesn't seem to be working there, which is a bit of a problem. But is it picking me up correctly is the question. So does that need to be in quotes? Ah, there we are. It did need to be in quotes. So I've got my links here, and of course I can get rid of this blue line with a bit of CSS. But you'll see as I hover over them, highlighted in the bottom left of the screen, that the ID it's being sent to. And in fact, if I put that on for you, if I want to delete this test one, it's sending me to /delete with that ID number. Now we need to handle that now. So one of the things I might want to handle though is I might want to check to make sure that they're allowed to do it. I don't want people just finding /delete and mucking about with it. So approot, I can spell today, /delete, methods equals just get. That's what I'm going to deal with. Def delete. So, I've done that wrong, haven't I? I copied and pasted that from where I just was, but I've done that completely wrong because I was checking that the entry was done by that, and I didn't want that at all. I wanted to check that my user was me. So let's just check that still works when I do that. So that was a bit nasty thing. That would have just allowed a delete key on anyone, anyone at all. Right, okay, so I need to bring that back out now and turn that back probably into a number. There we go. Refresh that. Okay. Let's see what I'm getting. Let's print. So when I go there, I'm getting a user name. Why am I sending the user name and not the user ID? It's not add, is it? This one. Ah, so I've done username, not user ID. Let's try that again. I might need to make it a string again, so we'll see. Probably do. Oh, there we go. It's got my X button back now. And if I go there, it's asking for my delete. So let's get delete sorted. Right, so delete does nothing at the moment. It just does a pass. So what we need to do is, first of all, check that I am who I say I am. It's not user now. I need to pull it from here. So I need to pull... Here we go. That bit. my user ID. So I'm going to say if it's not equal to that, then I'm going to redirect them to return a redirect to just slash, which is just the main page. So people that aren't allowed can't get to the delete page and do anything with it. Right. Otherwise, what am I going to do if I do want to delete it? Well, I need to get the value of get. Okay, so results equals request.get values. And actually we know what it's called, so I can just do that, I think. And we can, what did we call it? We just called it ID. So ID. So let's just print that out at the moment before we move on to check that's actually happening. And print goes to the console. So if I do that, am I getting something on the console? Oh, it's just request.values, isn't it? Muppet. The error message, of course, is because I'm not returning anything yet. So if I scroll up past that, there we go. I am actually getting the key value. So I've got the key value there. So what I want to do then is delete that. So del db results, that deletes the key. And then we want to return a redirect to just / which is the main part of the page. So refresh the page. I don't want this one. It's gone. Don't want this one. It's gone. Don't want that one. Boom! We've got an admin interface where our admin user can only see certain things. Let's pull up a non-admin user. So let me log in with my other account. And you'll see here that I've got the chat, but I can't actually do anything with it. I can say, hello there. And over here, if I refresh the window, I can see that we're talking to each other. This is the power of Replit DB when you're actually using it in a website. And this works fine. We've got it working as we wanted. Happy days!